He rides into town, a bounty hunter, dragging the carcasses of a local raider gang. Wanted, dead or alive. The dead require not water in the desert. And in time, when most anyone could ride into town and call themselves by whatever name, he could not. Jonah Hex wore a very different mask. Nearby, young Jed, a typical boy craving excitement, yearns to see more, but his faint of a heart mother refuses. Hex saunters into the local counting house. There he is rewarded his bounty by the local fat cats. Teasing more bounty, the fat cats inform Hex that 3 more raiders are relaxing in the local saloon. They warn Hex he is to be expected. Being of an abductive mind, he states that if the gang saw him riding into town, he would have been shot off his horse. Hex marches toward the saloon. The fat cats are relieved to have him gone. Something about his presence unnerves them. Minutes later, Hex sneaks through a window where he manhandles a harlot. Disrespecting a harlot? Pfft, savage. He promises to pass through her room and nothing more. From the balcony, he spies the raiders positioned in ambush. But it is Hex who has the advantage. Unless he dispatches 2 raiders while the 3rd flees. A fleeing henchman? He needs a role model. When you hench, young man, you hench for life. The crafty crime fighter gives chase, but trips over Jed. Jonah reflexively raises a hand to the child, but Jed threatens him with his paw. Jonah warns a sassy mouth is bound to backfire on a boy and his paw. One day, Jed sasses back and needs to learn to watch his step. Strangely, this boy is unafraid of Jonah. The brusque bounty hunter is nevertheless impressed with Jed acting like a full-grown grizzly. Whatever that is. Over his shoulder, a few toughs have gathered to mock Hex. They run home to their mamas once Hex yells at them. Ha! The fat cats catch up to Hex to reward more bounty. Hex promises to collect, more focused on tracking the 3rd henchman. He knows the coward will lead him right to the Big Jim Raider himself. Jonah then witnesses the local blacksmith about to abuse his steed. Abusing a steed? Psh, savage. Jonah frightens away the animal abuser. The local yokels are impressed, and why not? The man has a code. Later that night, on the barren landscape of the territory, Big Jim Raider scolds a fleeing henchman. The henchman named Cody. Cody? In Scar Taurus, Cody means your mother's loins. Big Jim remarks the only thing scary about Hex is his face. Come to think of it, why is it we've only seen one side of that face? Is there a superstition in this outer world about a face having a good side? Jim then orders Cody to fetch some well-watered brewed coffee. Sounds like the drink of a nighttime warrior. Tepidly, the henchman obeys. Venturing into the dangerous darkness, he fills a receptacle while musing that Jim's plan was good while it lasted. The plan was to scare people off their land in order to buy it and sell it to the railroad. Fascinating. My studies of such schemes usually depict the inclusion of a fake haunting. Suddenly, he drops the receptacle as a flammable splinter ignites to reveal the full face of Jonah Hex. The youth of this outer world might exclaim, "Bitchin'." The horrifying hunter executes the henchman. Inside, Big Jim cowardly escapes out of the back window. Viewing Hex's silhouette in the moonlight, Jim fires. But the silhouette is merely a tree stump in a coincidental shape. Miraculously, Jim mounts his steed and retreats. When the master does it, it is a retreat. Hours pass, the moon is revealed behind the clouds. When the clouds open, Jim dismounts, sighing in relief. But the moon casts a shadow, the shadow of a demonic rider called Hex. Jim panics, retreats by foot rather than hoof to a nearby homestead. While Jim is fleet of foot, Hex is steady of step, patient, intuitive. Hex merely waits out his prey. Some are hunters, some are trappers. Hex is both. Jim emerges with Jed's mother as his hostage. He threatens to put a bullet hole in the woman's head. Bluff. If one intends to do something, one does not announce it. And why would Jim think that Hex would even care about an innocent woman? Suddenly, Jed grabs on to Jonah, begging him to obey Jim. Jonah relents, removing his gun belt. Jim throws away his only leverage and absconds with the steed. It is then Hex removes a blade kept near his own neck. Ha! He risks cutting his own throat. How twisted. Hex hurls the blade into Jim's back. Hex then advises Jed to never turn his back on anyone aiming to kill you. Wise words. Hex then carries the fainted mother into her home. Jed sees through Jonah's mask. Jonah then asks of Jed's father. Jed brags of being the best liar in the territory. His father died long ago. He then invites Jonah to return for apple dumplings. Jonah, unused to kindness, insults the offered morsels, but suggests he would return regardless. Back in town, the Fat Cats pay Hex's bounty. He inquires as to the death of Jed's father. Curiously, the Fat Cats know of this. Jed's father was murdered by indigenous people, a people unseen during this entire tale. Jed's mother owes back taxes and so might lose her land, a land that we know would be valuable to Fat Cats. Jonah pays the back taxes with his bounty. He then inquires about a dwelling at the edge of town. The inquiry makes the Fat Cats visibly upset. They claim the dwelling was sold earlier that morning and that no other homestead was available. Hex mocks that Paradise Corners is unfit to die in, much less live in. True to his word, Jonah returns for some apple dumplings. Just then, a projectile is launched. Hex dives through the brush, then crawls around to where the would-be assassin is perched. Shockingly, that assassin is none other than Jed's mother. She is enraged that such a hellion as Hex has become a hero to her son. She also reveals her shot was a mere warning. A fine markswoman she is. Feeling worthless and unloved, Jonah lies that he never actually meant to visit. Holding back tears, Jonah rides on. Down the road, he happens upon Jed. The boy wishes to join up with Jonah. With the mother's harsh words echoing in his head, Jonah insists the boy is better left with his mom. Feeling betrayed, Jed thought Jonah wanted to be friends. Jonah lies that he hates the boy, hates him like poison. He leaves the boy behind, struggling not to look back. Further down the road, Jonah stops at a town sign. He batters it in a fit of self-pity. And so Jonah Hex, forever an outcast, remains forever in search of a place to belong. Happy trails. You didn't think it was me, did you? But I am Deimos, and join me again for Two-Fisted Weirdness with Saturday Morning Barbarians. Hex! Come back, Hex! Come back!